Good morning. We are. Can you tell everyone where we are? Yeah, you can tell exactly that they've given the address out and everything.
We are in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Right now we are in Wexford, and we are in the North Hills of the city.
It's very beautiful around here.
It is. It's very pretty here.
And I just want to say, before we get into the story, that congratulations to the Bundy family for their beautiful, beautiful baby girl that was born this morning. So I know all of you follow her, and as I know, everything went really well, and she's beautiful and she's healthy and she's not vaccinated, of course. All right, thank you. We're not too late. We started about 10 minutes late, I think. It was not too bad for us. Now, did I turn my phone off? Yeah, we're good. Yeah, no, we're 20 minutes late. Okay, that's not too bad for us.
Not a problem.
Can you tell everyone your name?
My name is Kristen Gallagher.
And you've been in this game for a fair amount of time.
A long time.
I think it's very important, because they like to call us, that crazy anti-vax crowd, that we talk about how, everyone knows how pro-vaccine I was before. Now you also were extremely pro-vaccine.
I was so pro-vaccine. I worked in healthcare. I worked in emergency medical services, and I was around infectious diseases, and everybody should be vaccinated, because the people that don't vaccinate, you're crazy, you're ignorant, and you're dumb. You're just
you're
stupid.
Dangerous.
And you're dangerous, and you should just be banished.
Right, that was your attitude.
Absolutely. They were crazy.
And so what did you do in the health field?
I worked in emergency medical services. I worked on an ambulance. I worked with geriatrics. I worked hospice care, end-stage life. I worked different aspects of healthcare. And, of course, I was fully vaccinated, 8 of them as a child. When I went into emergency medical services, I had to, you have to have the hepatitis shot. Shoot me up. And then I got really, really sick right after the first vaccine, and I thought, I was just probably sick. No, I ended up with the worst respiratory infection of my life. So then I thought, I'm just not going to finish them. And I didn't really think much of it. But but still, vaccines are safe. Everybody should be vaccinated. There's no questions asked. Because the science is behind it.
And it's settled, so just don't even ask questions.
Don't.
So what happened? So you like everybody else.
I had my children. I had my oldest son, and he was vaccinated. The doctor at the time said, we're introducing this new 5-in-1 vaccine. And he said, are you interested? And I thought, it's new, 5-in-1. Nah, let's break them up. Let's space them up.
Let someone else try it first.
I'll
let you know.
He said, we have to draw it just to make sure. I said, nah. I said, let's just do the old-fashioned way. Oh, okay. So my son, he did perfectly fine, and then my daughter was born, and she had a lot of gastrointestinal issues at birth. And, of course, we shot her up with vaccines, and there was the kid that didn't progress, and she was diagnosed at 17 months. But something mysterious about her, she would get these mysterious fevers, that her temperature would go to 105, 106, no cold symptoms, nothing, and just vanish. And then at 17 months, she was diagnosed with autism. My youngest, Evan. Because when my daughter was diagnosed, I started to hear about things with vaccines and autism, and I thought, oh my God, listen to these kooks. They're crazy. They're absolutely insane. And I had a daughter with autism. It's genetic. It's completely genetic. The science shows us.
You were one of those real hardcore,
the science
scary trolls even.
Shows us. Yeah, the science shows us. So my youngest one, I took him in, and I said to the doctor, I'm going to space these vaccines out, because, there's these crazy people, and they say that we shouldn't give all these vaccines at once. So I'm going to show these nuts that vaccines are perfectly safe. He said, yeah, really, they are crazy. I said, they are. He said, we're just going to give them the DPT. Not a problem. Give him the DPT. All right, buddy. Sorry, I know it hurt. Let's go home. Went home. I had a babysitter. Evan was sleeping in his car seat. And she said, maybe you better take his jacket off. He looks a little warm. I said, well, it's like 20 degrees out. Take it off. All of a sudden, he started to cry. I picked him up. I said, oh my God, he's burning up. He's hot. I stripped him down. I took his temperature. His temperature was almost 107. within 45 minutes of the vaccine, and there I was, a crazy person. Now I was questioning vaccines. I hurried up and I called the doctor and I said, there's something seriously wrong. You're fine. He's fine. He probably just had the start of a cold. But I just had him in your office 45 minutes ago. How does a child with no temperature go to 107? Give him Motrin, give him Tylenol. He'll be perfectly fine. You're overreacting. For 3 days, he had a high temperature. And I kept treating with Motrin because he just had a cold. In my mind, I'm still trying to bullshit myself that he just has a cold. It's really not a reaction. So then he started to lose everything. The smile. He stopped eating. He stopped walking for a while.
And at this point, we should show how he was before he was vaccinated. He was can you describe him, how he was before?
As a baby?
Yeah, like in this picture.
He was my fat, happy baby. And his favorite things were to be tickled, laughed at, and eat. That was his favorite things. And he was reaching all of his milestones. So when I watched this happen in front of my eyes, because I had heard about these stories from these crazy vax people, they're crazy. I said, maybe they're not so crazy. I'm watching my child deteriorate in front of my eyes. This is insane. So the doctor, I got a letter and he said, it said in the letter, your child is not fully vaccinated. You need to come back and get him caught up. I called him and I said, you do know the reaction. Well, yeah, but we don't think it was from the vaccine. And I said, I do. He said, well, if you don't fully vaccinate him, you're going to have to leave our practice. And I said, well, let me think about that. Bye. And then I come to find out 3 months later in a newspaper article that he was the vaccine purchaser for the Pittsburgh area. So I was thrown out of his practice. And now I have a child that has an intellectual disability, autism, vision loss, hearing loss, and within the past 2 years he has developed severe seizures. But the science shows that vaccines are completely safe. Science hurt my child.
So overnight you became one of us.
I did.
How old is he today?
He's 15.
Can you describe what that vaccine has done to your son, what it has taken from him, what his life is like now because of that moment in time?
It has taken away everything. He is a 15-year-old child with the mentality of a 3-year-old. He still plays with Thomas trains and he watches Elmo videos. He should be playing sports. He plays special needs sports, but he should be doing so much more. It stripped him of a normal life. It caused this. It has taken away. I had to place him in residential at a very early age. Do you know what it's like to say, I can't take care of my child? It was horrible. He was ramming his head through glass doors. He was fecal smearing. He was fecal ingesting. He was ripping his sister's hair out. I was told by a case manager that maybe I should put him up for adoption. And you know what I did? I was desperate because I spent days and days on the phone calling for help and nobody could help me. I wound up on the doorstep of an adoption agency looking for help. And the girl said, well, come on in, fill out the application. I said, I don't want to put my child up for adoption. Don't you have some kind of resources? She said, well, 80% of people that walk in here end up placing their kid for adoption. I burst into tears and I said, I will not be of the 80%. I said, I will find the help he needs. And I had to fight all of these government agencies here in Pittsburgh to get the help for him. I had to place my child at a very young age. And I will tell you, there is nothing that's more painful than that ever. I'm beyond tears. I'm now pissed off because I have heard from so many other parents that I took my child in that was perfectly healthy, gave them a vaccination, and they're gone. They're gone. And then you have the people that screamed, but it's the science that shows. Your science is a little skewed.
Does your boy have seizures?
Yes, he does.
How many seizures is he experiencing? What kind of life is he living with that?
We are now on our 5th seizure medication. His last seizure was so severe that he had to be transported by ambulance, and he wouldn't come out of it. It was a half hour. He's now losing language because of the seizures.
And it's affecting his ears and why?
His hearing, we did not find out he was moderately deaf until he was 11, because everybody blamed it on his autism. It was when he was sedated. I actually travel outside of Pittsburgh for medical care. I go to Columbus, Ohio. And they tested his hearing and said he was moderately deaf. He also, when he became somewhat verbal, he was able to tell me his stomach hurt. And I took him to a gastro doctor, and he said, yeah, your kid's stomach's pretty jacked up. So all these years that he was so self-injurious and hurting himself, that he was physically sick too.
What do you think when you see the doctors on the television and the news, the media, the pediatricians, the people still out there relentlessly saying that vaccines are safe and effective? And you just see injury, you see it everywhere. It's everywhere now.
It must be nice to live in that bubble. It really must be nice to live in that bubble. Because you're just preaching what you've been told by the CDC. You're clinging on to that like it's a religion. Unless you witness it for yourself, you're not going to know. Vaccines generate millions and millions of dollars. Our kids are being harmed by vaccines. Not all, but there's a good bit that are. Look at this bus. For God's sake, there's so many names on this bus. It's shocking. When you pulled in here, Polly, I was in shock. But all these parents, all these names on this bus, they're crazy. They're insane. You know, if I said to a doctor my child had a severe reaction to eating peanuts, they'd believe me. But if I say my child had a severe reaction to a vaccine, I'm insane. I'm crazy. I'm nuts. I'm one of those anti-vaxxed. That's what's scary. They'll believe you if it's a peanut allergy, but they won't believe you if it's a vaccine.
We have many, many people that attack us the whole time, that say that, you know, we're a danger. You coming on this bus, we're spreading to you. We're brainwashing you into coming in here and telling your story.
I came here of my own will. Polly didn't call me up and say, hey, I'm going to be in your city. Why don't you come on up? I found out you were coming. And I felt that people should know my story. And I'm not telling them to not vaccinate. I'm telling them this can happen. Read the insert of these vaccines. They're there for a reason. And it can happen. And you have to look back to when I was vaccinated. I had 8 vaccinations. And I'm perfectly fine. Well, maybe that's debatable now because I'm one of those crazy vax people. Why are we not spacing them out? Why are we giving them...
You did space them out, though.
I did. But they were still somewhat too close together. But
Wait, your son just had DTP. My son just had MMR.
Yeah.
That was
so
enough.
We didn't get that far.
That was... You can't space them out any more than that.
No. It is scary what is going on. It's so scary.
If they mandate vaccines and the military come in and they say, give me your kids now.
I'll leave. Pennsylvania, we are lucky. We still have our vaccine exemption. And I was asked, Well, why? Well, what is your exemption? It's a religious exemption. Okay, fine. I'm not giving a hard time. And what I'm finding more and more is with when I go into hospitals and in doctors' offices, and when I say my child had a DPT reaction to the DTaP, I used to get a lot of horrible looks and you're crazy. Now they just kind of put their head down and go. But in my child's medical records, it's listed as the DPT as an allergen. That's a hell of an allergy, if you ask me.
Yeah.
That's it. There's something going on.
What about your boy's future? What does his future hold?
I'm afraid to die. I'm afraid to die. He lives with one person in their home. Is a residential setting. If something happens to him, I don't know. But I'm afraid to die. His future, I hope that he can continue being happy. I hope that he will be able to be relatively independent, but never fully dependent, ever. He will not be. He will be reliant on somebody for the rest of his life. And the thousands and thousands of dollars that it is taking for his care. I can't go after the vaccine manufacturer. You know what his care is? Just to where he lives? It's over $69,000 a year. His education is over $47,000 a year. His medical cost this past year was over $50,000. His behavioral health was $38,000. His transportation to school was $15,000. His medications were over $6,000. This is one child that was injured by a vaccine. It's costing all of us.
When you were training in your healthcare, did they teach you about vaccines?
Everybody should get them. No questions asked. There was not even the remote mention that vaccines could hurt you.
So when you took your son in for that DTP, did you think in any way, shape or form there could be any kind of reaction?
No, I didn't.
You thought they were 100% safe?
They're safe. They're safe. The science shows us they're safe. And I keep mentioning that because that's what I hear on the pro-vaccine. Well, it's the science. Well, if you go back to science, what I remember of science class was the world is round, and for every action, there's a reaction. So when you take a child that's perfectly healthy, and your action is inserting a vaccine into something, there's going to be a reaction, whether it might not be, it might be mild, it might be a mild fever, it might be a little bit of swelling, or it could be death. Don't question vaccines. When I was in training, no, you didn't. You'd be afraid of all the diseases out there. We've eradicated all the diseases because of all these vaccines. Really? Have we? Or have we started to eradicate our children?
What would it have taken to have changed your mind back then? Would this story now that you're doing, if you'd watched you as a young you, would that have changed it, or would it need more?
I think because I was so regimented with vaccines. If I was watching this and I didn't have a child with autism, oh, look at those crazy people on that bus. They're just trolling around here and they're causing all kinds of havoc and they're putting fear in their fear mongers. It was until it happened
exactly
to
what this
me. It was until it happened to me, to my child. And now those crazy people, not so crazy anymore. Unless we're all crazy.
Have you got a picture of him now? Can we see a picture of him now? I just want to remind you all of what he was like before he was, he's described as being a really happy little chappy, meeting all his milestones before he had this DTP, and mother extremely pro-vaccine, and would not have then been regarded as a friend of ours.
Absolutely not.
But now
not.
she's our best buddy. Let's have a look at him.
Here he is. he actually went with his care provider,
Oh, look at him,
and
bless him,
they
okay.
went to go watch the eclipse.
There he is watching the eclipse, showing we are vaxxed, because it happens to be the one on my left. And is he quite tall?
He is 6'1".
Yeah, he's 15 years old.
15 years old.
There he
yes.
is. Showing YouTube now. Well, everybody here is sending you a lot of love, and they're telling you how sorry they are. All hundreds of thousands, if not millions of us that believed. And our babies are now injured, like your boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you for all your work.
Thank you for
and
all
for
your work.
speaking out as well, though. Speaking out, and being so honest. We really appreciate it.
And I appreciate you having me. And thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah, they're sending, you have to watch this back, because they're sending you a lot of hearts and love. Now, is his name on the bus?
It is. He is number... Pardon the old age, the memory is just going. Autism will eat at everything of you. His number, sorry if I show it?
Yeah, it's a number.
Is number 1536.
Well, that's going back some. We're way over that now.
Yeah, 1536.
Well, thank you so much. They're saying, what about your daughter? Is she on the bus?
No, she is not on the bus. I would probably put her on the bus.
Is she doing okay? How's she doing?
She's got a lot of her gastro issues. She's very, very high functioning, as they say.
Did she have MMR?
She did, but she was so severe colic at birth, and I was told that it was colic, and
It's all your fault.
Well,
Breast milk.
I was the doctor actually told me that, and he said she's colic. I said no, she's possessed by the devil, because she screamed for 12 and 14 hours a day, and come to find out, severe gastro issues. Just
Bless
horrid.
her.
But
and how old is she now?
She is 16. So
Okay.
all of my children are all in a row. But Evan was my child that was damaged, was hurt, was injured by a vaccine.
We're really sorry.
No,
Sorry.
I appreciate it.
And thank you for speaking out. Your voice is incredibly important.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so Pete, I think we have a lot of stories today. So,
Yes.
but really, truly thank you. I'm going to come off this. We'll continue.